And we'll welcome everybody back to the Independent Investor Channel for another Friday live stream here, throwing down on the cornerstone of the Independent Investor Channel. We've been cranking for about 8 years straight. It seems like a drop in the bucket here. It seems like just yesterday I started the project, and I started the project with less than 100,000 in the portfolio. I was just looking at it tonight. We went through from 72,000 to 700,000 now over the last 8 years. Um, and I looked and I thought, when was it that I actually figured this out and had a light bulb revelation moment above my head when I actually felt like I started doing stuff right, whatever that means. It's easy to be right in a market like this. Okay. It's also very, very difficult to try to teach people, get them excited when the market is as horrendous as it was just as early as 3 years ago. We're not so far removed of the March 2020 COVID downturn. It was horrible. It's very, very difficult to come on because this is a very, very emotionally charged topic for a lot of people out there. A lot of people have very, very strong opinions about what works or nothing works but their program. Don't listen to anybody. Buy my course and I'll tell you how to get ahead in this game. It's very interesting. I think if the people had, and there are people who have been with me from the inception of the channel, have deployed some of the strategies that I talk about, which are hardly strategies. They are more disciplines than anything. I would suggest that strategies probably imply to be a little bit more complex in nature, and therefore I think it begs the question for me: how come so many people get involved with stock market investing only to make a ton of mistakes right at the beginning? I made mistakes for years. Mistakes, huge. How do you end up overcoming those mistakes and staying with it? Well, number one, I absolutely have a passion for the craft, and good on me. Probably an attribute of success is to not be, caught up on those mistakes and quit. You persevere through the craziest of things. I guess it goes with anything. You can't have any type of shortcoming with anything that is worth doing, and quit and expect that something's going to come of it. Investing really, really tries people. It really does. One of my featured channels came out with the video this week. It was a good message, very, very short video, but the message was very, very catchy. Talking about what's good for influencers is not necessarily good for you. Mariusz Skonieczny, his message was really interesting, very psychologically smart, um, scoffing at the idea that although rogues of followers on YouTube will tune into the popular topics. Interest rates are doing this, the stock market's at an all-time high. The Fed cuts interest rates, and all of the big YouTubers out there following the same trend. I just look at that message, and this was aligned with what Mariusz was trying to get across to would-be patrons out there, that there has to be something said. I'm not saying that investing in a popular topic like Nvidia is a bad thing. As a matter of fact, you could make money. I've made money with the topic. That's not the point. The point is that, don't you think that there's a potential to have topics out there that are undiscovered, that have much more potential to really make a bottom dollar change for people? And honestly, it really hits home with me with regard to multiple strategies that I deploy. You guys know that I try to adhere to the fundamental strategy of long-term investing. I've done it for many, many years. My S&P position is closing in on $100,000 for the first time. So when I talk about thresholds of wealth, it's one of those things that is kind of cool to acknowledge. It's a big milestone. $100,000 in total net portfolio value is a big deal, but to have a single holding in the S&P 500, this is just mine. My wife has a $50,000 position in it, closing in on 60. But as those thresholds of wealth are met in individual case, it accumulates from a total portfolio perspective on itself to render itself to the total whole. When you first start investing, you cannot appreciate the magnitude of how quickly money can grow when you allow that money to empower itself, to liberate itself, to not tie it up and always think that you have to pay some sort of an intermediary to let that program go. I think young people, unfortunately, are being succumbed to the whims of life. Struggling to pay a car payment, an insurance payment that at the time looks extremely daunting. And oh, by the way, you've got to have that the newest Apple iPhone 16 on top of it, which for all intents and purposes, it probably run you, let's just say $1,200, maybe more, maybe less. You guys can say you get it for free. Not really. But the expenditures on a young person, that's a luxury item, and it can really consume what it is you're trying to do to get ahead. So the temptation and the allure to follow, let's say, those popular ideas, those big YouTubers, since they've got 1 million subscribers, they must be good, right? Well, I don't know. Are they good for the individual investor, or are they aimed to play into a narrative and look to seek favor from momentum? Um, the cool thing about me and the channel is I have no inkling whatsoever to drive this project to the moon. No way. No way. I do this project because I enjoy the project, number one. Number two is I think that we're reaching people. In other words, if somebody had tripped and fallen into the independent investor channel some 8 years ago when I started, they would have got a message of self-directed investing. That was the very first message that I had on the channel. Why? Because at the time I had just discovered self-directed investing. It wasn't the thing. Robinhood wasn't around to challenge the industry to drive down prices for brokers. They weren't out there. It was a landscape where the institutions ruled the world, and the access to single stock just wasn't there the way that it is now. I think all too often, to a lot of people's detriment, single stock is there, and people have really too much ease of access, and they don't really understand the true power of the stock market, and furthermore the equities that they're entering into. Right? I'm just going to try it for a couple of weeks, and if it works out, great. If not, then I'm out. Okay. The convenience of Robinhood, I think it is counterproductive in really catering to the long-term investor, in my opinion. Now, if you use Robinhood as a long-term investing platform, so be it. It really just comes down to your discipline. And when I talk about, investing long-term in the S&P 500, that's not a strategy per se. That is a discipline. Okay, if I was going to say a strategy in the S&P 500 would be to attempt to pick a bottom and then attempt to pick the top and then sell at that time. That's a strategy. Okay, a discipline, and more along the lines of what I teach, because if you couple discipline with the psychological strength to understand that you're going to have to ignore some noise along the line. Guys, right now the market's on fire, okay? And it's amazing how time stands still for me on the independent investor. Here's what I mean. I come on a couple of years, maybe a year and a half, just last year, and the discussion was, we have to invest in bonds. Bonds are the thing, because we are absolutely in 2024 going to enter into a recession. We're almost through 2024, and we are yet another incredible year for the S&P 500. Now, I'm not suggesting that we couldn't have entered into a recession at 2024, but what happens all too often is What everybody thinks is going to happen does not happen. Now, I want you to buckle your seatbelt for just a second. I'm going to give you my insights on the stock market, that of which I could be completely off base and completely wrong about. Okay. The total stock market right now makes me a little nervous. Okay. Because everybody and their mother is getting on this S&P 6,000 train. Since interest rates are coming down, the stock market has to go up. It's the same thing about September having to be a bad month. And so if you sold on September 1, you would have been validated on September 1, 2, and 3, only to miss out on an amazing amount of gains here in September. My point is buying into those methodologies is all too often never a good philosophy. It finds you herky jerky in and out of the market. It all too often finds you on the wrong side of stock trades. What is the solution? The solution is to buy financial markets for the long term, hold them and fund them. Now, we can put a little bit of a razor's edge on this philosophy or discipline that I speak about. What I mean by that is if I come on the independent investor live stream and I convey my opinion, this is my opinion. I believe the market's frothy. Okay. Does that mean you do not invest? Well, it depends. If you're an 18-year-old and you're out there looking for the very best strategy in the investment world, I have it. What makes me rare is I don't care whether or not I become popular by sending you down a river of opportunity that I kind of believe in, or even better, I believe in it because you believe in it because it's popular. Okay. It's not about that. Okay. If you're 18 and you are that person who looks at, gasoline expenditures, etc., cell phone expenditures, insurance as being a little bit difficult to make those ends meet, I don't think you have any other choice but to do it my way. Okay. You want to try to pick a winner? I tried picking winners in the stock market my whole life, until I really started to learn about the power of networking, learn about the power of evaluation, learn about the power of connections, quite frankly, because the thumbnail of tonight's video is talking about Clean Technologies, a stock that was up significantly every single day this week, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody. Why? Why? When I suggest that the market is frothy, everybody is positive. Everybody is, dare I suggest, complacent. I'm aggressively raising cash at this particular juncture. I'm still dollar cost averaging the markets. Am I putting lump sums of money into this stock market here? No, no, I'm not. I was putting large swaths of money into the stock market some 2.5 years ago, when there was just a few people that would come into the live stream hanging on by a thread. Good grief, Ryan, are we going to ever survive this nightmare? Because just like you wake up now, every single day and the stock market is up, we can all agree, no problem. I'm not trying to be a wet towel. I'm just giving you the psychology that I insist on, playing the other side of the coin, playing devil's advocate. You don't have to be a bear. But what if everybody else has this wrong? It's super easy to play into the momentum. Super easy. Stock market's on fire. It's very, very easy. Every day I wake up and it goes up, and every single day I have the same level of validation. It feels good, Ryan. Why don't you feel good? I feel fine. Okay. The very fundamentals that I speak about has saw my portfolio go from 72,000 when I first started doing the independent investor channel, and I'm topped over $700,000. And I'll talk about some of the contributors to that. I look in the mirror and I'm like, how the hell did I do it? I don't know. Aside from the mental piece of it, I always had somewhat of a realistic George Carlin type of approach to this and be like, look, Ryan, you can think your way to wealth all you want. It's not going to happen. You actually have to actually physically turn dollars into multiple dollars, man. You can't just think and grow rich. One of my favorite books. Is that true? Yeah, I don't know. I think it takes a little bit of both. I absolutely think that the importance of adhering to a plan is extremely important. But if you can't understand why you're engaging in a program, or dare I say, just want to, how many people out there just want to do this? You guys talk to your friends and family, and you ever get the impression that they're just not interested in talking about the topic? I find it fascinating. 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 Not from the paper, not from the rudimentary form of money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a much deeper perspective in identifying why people struggle so much with wealth building, why people struggle with this idea that when markets are frothy, that I talk about, that perhaps maybe when markets are high, that's not the place that you want to fall off your chair, fall on tilt, and put your entire life savings into the stock market. I'm not really that interested in putting large swaths of capital into the market. For some people, my entire portfolio value is a small amount. For me, a large swath of money into the moving into this market would be around 25,000 or more. I'm not interested in doing that, where I would be absolutely compelled to do that 2.5 years ago. Pick off some incredibly good companies like I missed the run up on, let's say, an Eli Lilly or a Costco or a BlackRock. Okay. It doesn't mean that I stop watching them. It absolutely does mean that I watch them now. Does it mean that I chase them at 900 a share? No, I'm good. I'm good. I own the broader markets. I'm absolutely happy. It's the very reason why I looked at the Vanguard's technology ETF, and I have a hard time justifying anything other than what I'm doing now because my cost basis for the technology ETF was around $200. It's now closing in on 600. I've close to tripled my money. And what do I do with the position? I own about 15 shares of the ETF, nothing too crazy, but to up that another $5,000 would be a pretty good chunk of money to be putting into a technology sector right now that I'm just not sure hasn't run a nice course over the last couple of years. It's carried this market. I look at a market like the small cap market that has just been absolutely decimated the last 3 years, and I see a lot of runway. That's what I see. And the crazy part about it is, guys, this is where I will absolutely play a little bit into the consensus thesis, because where nobody was talking about the small cap market being obliterated, mind you, outside of one person, Mariusz was one that was speaking about how obliterated it was for such a long time. It was thrown out with the bathwater. It was forgotten. It was an uninvestable segment of the market. Now it's the greatest thing going. Everybody's got to invest in small caps. The Russell 2000 finally broke out of its 2100 ceiling. Everybody's on board. The market's run its pace, right? It's time to shift some capital into the small cap market. I guess the scoff at that type of idea is that for the people who were talking about it when it was unpopular to talk about it, like myself, Mariusz, maybe shedding some light on a market that would suggest that at some point it's got to turn. It takes a little more courage than just playing into the momentum all the time. Why? Because it's convenient to do so. And you really have to watch out for that type of activity, because all too often I feel like people who have an agenda like that um, probably don't have your best interest in mind. They're really not that great. on tempo of the market, where I would come out and talk about the market's at an all-time high. I, I just acknowledge that it's at an all-time high and caution investors to understand that it could drag higher. It could get choppy with some volatility. It could actually do a funny thing, which we've all forgotten. Yes, I will repeat, we have all forgotten, and that is that stock markets and stocks go up, but they also go down. Okay, so we really have to keep this thing in check. Keep your head about you and realize that when I started talking to you guys 8 years ago on the Independent Investor channel, I was the same fella then that I am now. It just so happens that the philosophies have been fine tuned. We're going to talk about it a little bit, how they've evolved over the last 15 years. And I'll try to extrapolate some of the real attributes that I don't think are as rare, that I don't think are as strategic as a lot of people would want to package up, bundle, and sell you on a course, whereas I choose it convenient to blow all that out of the water and give it to you for free. How do I know it works? Because I have rogues of people come back to the channel and they're like, Ryan, you're the man. Thank you. I am a man. I am a man. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that sentiment. Moreover, I'm more interested in the success that you're finding in the stock market because I sure as hell am finding my own. I'll be back with you guys in just a moment. Oh, the things that I wish I could wish upon people, like a career. These kids nowadays, man, they're a trip. Watch Charlie Kirk. If you're on one side of the aisle, he'll piss you off. If you're on one side of the aisle, you'd be like, right on, Charlie, get him. That's pretty funny, man. I don't know, man. I listen to some of these kids and I really just like, if I took them out in the field with me and actually said, here, perform work, I think they would look at me and I think their head would explode. I really don't think they would know what they were doing. I think they're more interested in bitching and complaining about topics that mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Means absolutely nothing. Seriously. Most of the topics. So you're Ryan, you're insensitive. Really, you have no sensitivity for any. Really, you know what I mean? I tell you what, my agenda has a lot to do with me and my program, teaching others about the program that I deploy. I don't charge for it, therefore I can do that. Okay. Um, Taking care of family, taking care of my career, um, you know, the rights of certain individuals and people and groups out there. I don't spend my time advocating one way or the other. No problem. I know you don't care about me and what I do with my time. Appreciate you. Good evening, Reginald. Thanks for making your way into the channel. But I just look, people can have sensitivity around that. I'm not going to allow my life to be consumed by that. I got one shot at this gig. And the really the moxie that I display on this should speak to my insistence that people have to be a little more aggressive with their application. Okay. People are aggressive on all the wrong stuff. Okay. Who cares? All right. You want to go to college? No problem. Go to college. You don't? No problem. Figure out how to how to work. The quicker you can figure out how to actually earn a living and earn some money so you can actually do what it is that I'm teaching on the Independent Investor channel. Because if you're going to come on and you don't have a job and you're frustrated because you don't have any money and you're in debt up to your eyeballs, none of this is going to make any sense. And you're going to think I'm the biggest prick out there. I have a job. It's a novel idea. This is not new concepts here. It's riveting. The farther up you go in the career, the more you get. Ryan, you're a sellout. You're a sellout to the man. You've been working for the man. No kidding. Well, I just didn't figure out, like every other dreamer out there, how to harvest money from a tree. I lived broke for a long time. I made a pledge to myself I would never go back there. I do not wish that upon anybody. It sucks ass. How many people out there have come from no money? Growing up, I wouldn't have traded it for nothing, man. Everything I've earned and made me overly hungry to do what it is that I needed to do. I was willing to do two of the hardest jobs out there. You know, I did it. I succeeded at it. I got out of it with my head. And the career now that I have, I'm overly thankful and I'm humbled every single day that I get to do the job. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Man, Ryan, that doesn't sound like somebody who's unhappy because they've sold out to the man. I'm happy as a clam because, like I said, I guarantee there's people out there that deep down inside they cannot succumb to selling out to the man, by God, because of this ethical and moral obligation to themselves to stay loyal to this clique or this crowd or this group of group thinkers. Do what's right for you, man. Do what's right for you. You don't have to listen. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself. Okay. You're going to enter into your 30s, man, and you're going to figure out that you wasted an entire decade of your life pissing it away, seeking methodologies that will not get you ahead. They will not get you ahead in life. Okay. There is no perfect job out there. I wait every morning for my magic carpet ride to show up and whisk me away to work. Um, it never comes. I hop into my Tacoma and I have to rudimentally drive to work. Try to figure out how to take a pill and get healthier so I don't have to exercise every morning. I was in the gym every single morning this week. I'm going to go tomorrow. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. It helps me with my mood, helps me with my physical fitness, of course. I feel better. I feel mentally strong. I'm ripping and raring. Cost me nothing to do that. Okay. Is it a priority in my life? Yes. Would I rather spend 60 minutes with you kind folks on the Independent Investor Channel live stream teaching people that for the most part I have never met? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I don't need to sell you my agenda. It's not really that important. Not important. I'm not going to try to convince you of my beliefs or my morals. I could care less. I could bark up and down as convicted as I am on my beliefs. It doesn't mean that you have to believe it or buy into it. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters in the grand scheme of thing. We're all focused on the wrong stuff. The wrong stuff, right? If you are privileged enough to start in the United States of America, it's right there. The unfortunate part about it is that so many kids just take and bastardize the opportunity. They don't get it. They don't get it. Somehow I'm just going to whisk myself to success by having an opinion about all of these little different categories out there. Really? Tell me how that works out for you when you're 35. Okay? No problem. All right. While you're scoffing at me selling out to the man, I'll be somewhere in Nice, France, sipping that red wine. It's really good. It's really good. And you think you hate me now? You're really going to hate me then. But for the people who get it and they understand that this stuff is not rocket science, it's not. It absolutely just comes down to a very concerted effort to do, engage on the discipline, and an understanding as to why you do it. That's really the secret sauce to this, okay? Because everybody wants to know how to invest. I tell you how to invest on every single 60-minute live stream that I do. What I don't do is I don't tell you what stock to buy anymore. You notice that? Okay. You don't have to buy a Clean Technologies. I could care less. I'm up 80 grand. I'm happy. $80,000 for investing in a stock that I believed in. I shared with you when it was 52 cents. It's now approaching $5 post reverse split. I understand. My cost basis is as low as a couple of dollars in the stock. It's now around $5 a share. It digressed to 470, I think, at the close of the market today. It's a success story, no problem, right? Um, those companies out there are very rare. That's okay. I'll just wait for the next one to come. Doesn't happen. It does not happen very often, my friends. Um, it doesn't mean that you have to invest in it. What I would suggest is to acknowledge the aggressiveness that I deploy in my strategy to put what I thought was a reasonable position on the company relative to the opportunity that they have. What's going to happen when we do have some headwind or some tailwind, which we have now in the small cap space? Small caps are just now starting to move. It's going to be very, very interesting to see as things start to transpire over the next coming year or so. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how it works out. Kat, good evening to you. Welcome. Eric's in the house. Says what's up. Great to see you. Smoking's in the house. Smoking too hard. Very good. Appreciate you making your way in, brother. Very good. Mm. Go on my little rant to teach people our frame of mind. Frame of mind might have been with me pretty close to the beginning of time. Been doing this a long time, man, and it seems like you've been with me a long, long time. I think for those people like frame of mind, I think if you come onto the live stream maybe for, the evening and you're like, okay, this guy's kind of off his rocker a little bit. He talks and thinks different than most people. No kidding. Thank you. I just got done ripping on everybody who thinks like everybody else. I'm dead set on this, my friends. Dead set. Do you think for a second that I was able to accumulate wealth in the capacity that I have by following Jeremy financial education? Are you kidding me? A big portion of myself and my success has been to come out with the independent investor channel, a relatively small YouTube channel, and an unbelievably successful project. What if I could have just taken all of that time and just devoted it as a devout subscriber to Jeremy financial education or Graham Stephan, right? The kid who came from nothing and has built up everything in this country. Come on, man. Open your freaking eyes, man. Open your eyes. Okay. Very, very rarely do people do what it is that I'm doing right in front of your face. And that is going from nothing to something very significantly. It's not easy. It is very rare. It is very hard. It is not easy. I'm laying out the path for you on what it is that you could potentially do to streamline your focus and focus on the right stuff. Okay. I understand you're going to have views about certain topics out there. I understand that when Trump and Harris get up there and give their opinion, you're going to agree with one or not agree with the other. Who gives a shit? I don't. I could stomach about 22 minutes of the debate. I told you guys that last Friday, and then I went to bed. Why? Because I felt it more interesting to me, the sleep that I was about to engage in, than what they thought was important as to what was going on in the world today. hmm hmm I actually think that the things going on in the world today are actually quite important. My heart goes out to those topics, right? There's nothing I can do about it, right? And our country seemingly is super, super excited about mucking up everything we get involved in. So My opinion is why get involved, right? I have people from those countries tell me that. you know, like I don't understand why your country's involved. It's just going toward waste anyway and building up the one person in that country. Look at the proof. It's out there. Yeah, pretty wild, man. I got Tim's in the house. Great to see you, Tim. Very cool stuff, brother. Welcome to the channel, man. Tim, I'm pretty sure was probably maybe one of my first 100 subscribers. Definitely for one of the first 1,000 for sure. Many, many moons ago. Tim, Tim was an OG on the I2. Very cool stuff. Good to have you. These are the types of impacts. I believe I spoke with Tim a long time ago. Shoot, man, that was all the way back when I was in. When did I meet with Tim? That was my first time here in New York. That was a long time ago. And it's stories like Tim that actually make it worthwhile for me. I'd like to believe that there's a significant amount others that were able to piece together some of the attributes of my program, put them to work, and deploy a little different strategy. I don't know, not buy into the whims of CNBC. Question things that you hear. Perhaps even look at the counter argument about what if the stock market just doesn't continue to go up indefinitely and forever and for all. That's what everybody seemingly thinks is going to happen, right? Why not buy into this idea that Ryan has by maybe, I don't know, looking at the other side of the spectrum for once in your life? Me, I do it all the time. I love to take the contrarian perspective on things and look at it and say, I don't know, maybe I'm not jamming everything I have into this market. I'm acknowledging that it's at a record high. That's not my opinion. That's a fact, my friends. It's my powers of observation where I just look at the stock market and say, it's up. Most people look at it and say, I've been on the sideline for the last 3 years, man. I've got to jam all my money in. That's what they keep talking about now. Look at all this cash on the sideline that's going to automatically flow into the market and create even more froth and euphoria. The money that's been made over the last 2 years is not going to be made by all this money coming into the sidelines now. That money has already been made. It's been made by me and you. It's already done. It's done, done, Dundee. Leave it alone. Start to turn the page. Sell everything? No, no. Just acknowledge where we are, sit back for 2 seconds, and exercise a little bit of deliberation. Not hard, not hard. Look at it. Ryan said sell everything. No, 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 I didn't. I didn't. What I said was sit back for a second, monitor what's going on. Okay. If you have investments in the market, like I have a significant amount, I just told you guys I have my position in my TSP is $100,000 position. What are the chances of it going up 20% or down 10%? You ask, you tell me. What should I do? Should I sell everything now to save on the potential of a down 10%? Or should I stay invested in that S&P for the possibility of another 20 or 21 or 22 or 18 or whatever it shakes out to be? Okay. I will opt to passively keep that in place. That's just my strategy. What I'm merely suggesting is to look at the market and take what it has to give you in way of information. Okay. Am I satisfied still dollar cost averaging the market? Yes, I am. I'm going to give you some of the highlights of what has worked for me over the last 15 years. And I'm going to give it to you over the course of the next 20 minutes on the fastest 60 minutes on YouTube. My habits over the last 15 years have become razor sharp enough to where I can teach it on YouTube. Dollar cost averaging, the very psychology and philosophy and habitual behavior of taking a little bit of surplus cash and looking at it and realizing, wow, I guess I could take that 3 or 4 or 5 or $1,000 every single month and blow it on something stupid. My friends, there is no amount of shit that you can buy in this life to make you that happy. Trust me. Trust me. You can buy a mountain of shit and it will not make you happy. Okay? It will not. Even the pile of money will not make you that happy. The reality is that pile of money can help make more money organically. That's the beauty of it, okay? But there's only so much of a pile of shoes that you can have, and purses, and pants, and shirts, and things, and thingamajiggy diggy diggies to throw into the pile and make you happy, okay? It's not going to happen. So what is it? It's a pledge to yourself to take that little bit of surplus capital that would otherwise be frivolously wasted, okay, and put it toward a program. It's a pledge to yourself. Ryan says I don't need it. I think I need it, but I'm going to give it a try. I don't need it. Let's give it a try, Ryan. I get paid $5,800 every single month, and I spend every dime of it on frivolous stuff. Everything I see, I gotta buy. Every guy's gotta buy it, see it and buy it. I gotta buy it. I look and that's nice. That's a nice color. That'll fit me. That's incredible. That's gonna look good on me. My goodness, I can show that off to the neighbors. I gotta buy it. Stop caring so much about what others think of you. Okay? They're probably not spending as much time thinking about you than you think they are spending thinking about you. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I just think different than most people, right? Tax shelter. Easiest freaking thing you can do on this earth. It's the old cliche. Start the Roth IRA. Ah, we've heard this before. Roth IRAs suck. They don't suck. They're awesome. Okay? Start one, get one, live it, love it, learn it, contribute to it, massage it, give it $1 every now and then. It'll love you tenfold down the line. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I currently hold, was it 70? It was at 80,000. It settled at about $78,000 of a Duro in the Roth IRA. What an amazing, powerful position. Now, I own a Duro in a lot of different capacities, but the power of accumulating money under the envelope of a Roth IRA, tax protected until you reach 59 and a half, and that money's available to you tax free for withdrawal. And you can do whatever you want. You want to go at that time and buy those piles of shit? No problem, right? You can come to me and, like Ryan, I amassed a fortune of 3 or 4 million bucks. Right on. Buy yourself a pile of Ferraris if that's what you want to do. See if that'll make you happy. I don't know. And it's a pile of Ferraris. I don't know. I hope it makes you happy. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if that would do it for me. I don't know. Yes, the coolest thing that makes me the most happy is my wife. I can't have a pile of wives. I can only have one. There's only one of her, and she's the bomb. Get it? Very good. Increase salary. I kind of touched on this a little bit. Get a job so you can participate in this. And if young people are coming, they're not going to like this. I sorry, but not really. I come from a different cloth. Okay, so if your influences are too much for me, like that's the thing about me watching Charlie Kirk debate with people, is that I like Charlie Kirk, but no matter what he says, he's not going to win these people over. These people are effing rotten from the core. Okay, they were grown up, effed up in the mind. They're messed up. Yeah, they're messed up. Can't just offer a cognitive thought to retort to somebody who's laying into you with their ideology. I don't care, but you're the one that stood up there and wanted to debate the guy. This is your chance. This is your moment on stage to show the world how incredible your views are on the world. None of them can do it. None of them. It's amazing. Increase the salary. That'll give you the opportunity to contribute to an employer sponsored. I do 25% of my pay right off the top. Okay. Max fund, 2 Roth IRAs. That's what, 14,000 a year. So 14,000 there, plus the 25%, which is pretty close to about 20,000 there, right? So pretty aggressive funding schedule. That's the key. Compound interest. You wonder for and this is something you lose. Like, you can't look at this every day and say, wow, right on, I got a little dose of compounding interest, man. That tastes really good, right? It doesn't work that way. You look at it over the course of a couple of years. You look at the portfolios a couple of years ago and you're like, wow, okay, what happened? Yes, I funded like Ryan's talking about. Yes, I invested strategically when I thought the market was at a good buy point, et cetera, et cetera. But man alive, this is really kind of clawing its way away from itself. That's compounding interest. Okay. Um, Seek it, live it, love it, learn it. Stop focusing so much on the presidential candidates and seek your opportunity to get involved in compounding interest. Oh, Ryan, you suck. That's a terrible idea. Fair enough. It's terrible. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no idea why you even watch the channel. You should shut it off and you should go watch Netflix. Diversify across ETFs and the S&P 500. This just makes sense. It makes sense in a lot of capacities. You invest in the S&P in 2024, it can guarantee you that 20 years from now, you have exposure to the best companies that 20 years ago the S&P has to offer, and you're buying into the best companies that the S&P has to offer now. Okay? So, very important to understand the power of that diversified, low cost, tax protected if housed in the correct account, can be for you as a pillar in your program. This is a program that you should vest in, adhere to, fund over time, live, love, and learn it, and just have it be a part of you. Okay? Have it be a part of you. Do you invest? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. How much do you invest per year? 100 bucks? No, 3,000 a month. Wow, that's incredible. Who taught you how to do that? It's a discipline. I learned it from this guy on the Independent Investor channel. He doesn't give financial advice. He takes the cattle prod and shoves it firmly up your ass so you can wake up and realize that the time to figure this stuff out is not tomorrow, it's yesterday. Okay? All right. Something that's unique to me. This is something that I actually do believe is somewhat unique in my strategy, and that is my affiliation with the Independent Investor channel. Okay. There's only one. You can't have it. It's mine. The point is, you can brand yourself like a Matt Money. Okay. You can brand yourself. He has his brand. I have mine. I'm very proud of my brand, as he should be of his, right? It represents him as not just a person, which I like, but more of a what does he stand for? What are some of the values that he talks about in his investing philosophy? Does his investing philosophy work? Does it work, Matt? I don't know. Is the portfolio gone to zero yet? So these people who on YouTube have 10, 20,000 subscribers, and they're actually rendering and making themselves multimillionaires, where all the while I fail to acknowledge that the masses are finding this level of success following all of the rogues on all of the popular YouTube channels out there, and really enjoying above average success doing so. I just really fear that it is people's desire to follow and know more, right? In that they don't need a payoff from it. They just want to follow. They want to become part of something. Like, oh my goodness, Ryan, you talking trash. I could never find myself unsubscribing from such a message. I don't think I could sleep at night. Yeah, you're pathetic. You're pathetic. You should be tired mentally at the end of the day because you've exhausted all of your neurons upstairs thinking about your own program. Think about your own program 98%, 99% of the time. Spend the other 1% coming on and listen to me rant for 60 minutes. Okay? 60 minutes. Give me 1% of the neons and the neurons upstairs. Okay? But the majority of the time, man, make sure that you're thinking about yourself. That's selfish. Thinking about others is the best way, Ryan. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I come on and I profess to an audience most Fridays with a program that I feel like is just about as close to the answer of any YouTuber that I've ever dared to listen to. Um, that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. Um, there's other programs that are close. Um, Strongman Personal Finance is one of those that's even more conservative than I am, almost to a point of being too much, right? All of the antics and all of the screaming and yelling, that's all smoke screen. But the actual message, by his admission, if he came onto YouTube and just told people to buy VT, he wouldn't have a channel. He has to come on with his tits hanging out and yell and scream and lace into everybody on YouTube because that message is boring, quite frankly. But if you strip away all the extracurricular stuff, you know what I mean, tits hanging out and all that stuff, you'll agree that that could actually work for a lot of people. So he's about as close to me in fundamental approach. I just think that, look, if you want to invest like grandma and you want to invest in VT, after 662 years, you will have $1 million. Okay, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. Okay, and when you're 663 years old, you can go ahead and retire on the wealth that you have safely grown with VT. Me personally, I would like a little more than that. That's too much. Be careful. You're going to be too aggressive, Ryan. That's too much. Too much. You want too much. You're going to put too much on the table and you're going to lose it all. Um, VT I've looked at, and it is predominantly made up of international stock. I'm an American, so buying the S&P 500 large capital markets makes absolutely the most sense to me, especially with the reach that some of those company has. That, let's just agree, they're international companies anyway. So those companies are not going anywhere. I'd rather have my money staked right here in the USA. And I think there's a lot of people who would agree with that and don't have that opportunity. All right. I've always learned the importance of paying myself first. I've had the same habits for the last 8 years and 15 years, really, and I've just fine tuned those or increased upon them where appropriate. I have evolved with my program. I think had I come out on the Independent Investor channel and said, hey, buy penny stocks on the very onset, I think I would have been doing myself a disservice. For you guys that were with me the whole time, know that when I started, I was against it. Okay. Um, I have absolutely opened up to the potential of the small cap market. Um, what can I say? I'm proving it out every day in reality. So was I wrong? Um, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. There's a lot of people out there that would say it's a scam. You don't want to do any of that. You don't want to touch it. You'll lose everything. Um, I don't believe that every company out there is a scam. I believe that a lot of them are not solvent. A lot of them don't have revenue. A lot of them don't have money. A lot of them, yes, indeed, are scams. Okay. But for those companies that have to start somewhere and have a promising future with the technology and have interested parties in that same said technology, I mean, you're gonna get a fair, objective look from me. That's it. My grandchild started with Fidelity Young Person account. I'm of course a custodian. Yep, I did the same thing. Portfolio worth at 17, withholding VOO, VDC, and Coke. Nice. I like that, man. Thank you for sharing. That's very cool, man. Nice to see we're involving our young people in the in the fun here. Vanguard funds seem to be like a good place to start, like Coke stock. Yep, I totally agree. Oh, if only I had known, Eric. You know. So Matt Money's being separate, self-deprecating again. He doesn't know anything. I'm gonna kick him off the moderator, but I know I love you. You know, hey, super nice guy. We maxed out the TFSA. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a big, when you get there, it's a big step. If you can do it for a few years, it can really help that bottom line and accelerate that compounding interest. Because I think to your point, Kat, the idea is to try to get that in there as quickly as you can, right? Get up to that number and then allow that snowballing to happen because, people spend a good portion of their life getting up to that first $100,000 mark, you know, and then the snowball is supposed to happen after that, barring conducive markets. But we plan to add in January and tax refund money. Very good, very good. Fantastic. A lot of my small caps are coming back from the dead. Yeah, I had the small cap ETF, and if that was any indication of how dead that was, I owned it for years. I still own it. It's back in the black handily. And my TSP S fund is kicking some tail right now. It's doing really well. So I can't complain there. Very good stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. David's in the house. But my boy, very good, man. It's great to see you, my friend. Very good. And congrats to you, man. Let's celebrate for you. Fantastic, man. Super stoked for you, man. Super stoked. I hope you're enjoying every day, man. I tell you what, I'm still getting used to this professional awesomeness. I really am, man. No, I mean we're blessed, man, and I've got a lot of rigor left in me, and it'll be a while before I, get close to really putting roots in like you have. But we'll get there eventually. That'll be a lot of fun, man, for sure. Yeah, we understand each other on that front. I came from no money, and I wouldn't have changed a thing, man. Wouldn't have changed a thing. I really wouldn't. I'm so thankful, man. I look at things differently because of where I came from. Period. That's real talk. Okay. Enough of the cattle prod and all that stuff. That's real talk right there. All right. Sell out to the man. Well, how much is he paying? I mean, if the offering is tempting, I just think that people think that somehow like if they get a job, they're missing out on this whole like life experience of going and just seeing the world and traveling the world and meeting new people and exploring new ideas and and it's like, look, man, I'd like to do that stuff too. I do it on occasion, but like there's a lot of time in the day. There's a lot of time in the weeks and years and decades. And as you get two or three stacked up, how much traveling do you think you're going to do on this imaginary money and this magic carpet ride, I don't know, man. It just makes sense. And I'm not trying to suggest that people can't have dreams. And I'm not trying to suggest that people shouldn't live their life as if it's their last day on earth, or, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. More than likely, you're going to live a fruitful life until you're 82 years old, and then you're going to die. So why are you trying to live your life at 21 and a half right now and get all of your life experiences? Why don't you make a little bit more of a long-term game plan a little bit? And over that long term, you can help maybe fortify a program, because you're not fortifying shit if you just think that you're just going to travel all over the world and just float through like a lollygagger to retirement, right? All right. At some point, you got to get serious and you got to get responsible. It's not my title, I just look at it like a job, and I'm very thankful for it. If I'm a sellout to the man, so be it. But I just think more young people need to look at the prospects of getting their act together, pull their head out of their backside, put their head down, and go to work. That's my 2 cents. I appreciate the comment, brother. Thank you for coming on, mine. Very good, very good. You betcha. Yo, brother, load it up today. 8,000? Jesus, what the hell are you doing? Can I get a wrench? You have one. I gave you one. You have one. It's showing up on your deal, man. Tony Lentz, hold on. Well, what's going on here? Come on, Tony. Where you at, Tony? Yeah, man, you got one. I wouldn't leave you hanging like that. See, you're on the screen. See that? Hell, man, for 8,000 shares, I think I could probably give you 2 wrenches, man. But 8,000 shares, what at the, close to $45,000 position. I've got a $25 minimum price target. It should blast through 10 to 15 on the re-rate here coming up. You do the math. The question is, are you going to have the ability to sit on some profits for a while? I'll share with you my insights as we marshal our collective energy through the process. It's not a big deal. We'll continue to work it together. It's not a big deal. I held my shares yesterday. I will rest assured hold them tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Saturday. I will rest assured hold them on Monday. It's just a stock position, you know. But congrats on the position, man. That's fantastic. That's really, really cool. Very good. When will Charbonne explode? I have no idea. Jesus. I tell you what, man. If I had the answers to those questions, I would be bigger than any YouTuber on. And wow, that would be fun. That would be fun. I found you through Mariusz. Well, I appreciate you making your way to the channel, Frank. Thank you. Me and him have differing and similar styles. We're both kind of in your face. We're both successful people. Um, we don't have that much tolerance to be like, it's okay, sure, I'll punch back if people punch on me. Um, I'm not doing this to take abuse, really. Like, if I thought my message was over the top unappreciated on YouTube, I would listen to the critics and I'd close down the message. I, I really don't think that that's the case. But my thoughts on Voxter are very positive and very bullish on the company. I think it's very good. I think Oracle at these price levels are also very good. So a couple microcaps, both one trading at about 8 cents, the other trading at about 25 cents, with some significant value within their respected companies. Two completely different companies, mind you. You asked about Voxter. I think with the lowering of interest rates and how that could potentially be viewed upon positively in the real estate market, I think those are positive tailwinds for Voxter. I really do. So is it worth a stab at 8 cents? Now, if you've been in the stock and you've had it digress, and I've been in and out of the stock and can't seem to really find any type of momentum. Made a little money when I've sold it just for a little bit of profit, but the stock has not moved yet. I do think there's value there to be had, and I'd be a holder and a buyer of the stock at these levers. I certainly wouldn't be selling the stock here. No, no way. Not with what's going on right now with the churn in the market. No way. Brother, my book, love you talks. Appreciate you, brother. Yep, thanks for coming on. I've been here since 2019. That's awesome, man. Yes, you have listened and re-listened to every episode, kind of brainwashed at this point, which is a good thing. P.S. I'm wearing the same shirt, no socks, thriving. It's because nobody cares, right? Like, isn't it more comfortable? You know, like it's just, I don't know. It's like Cody Lundeen. Cody Lundeen, man, dual survival. I don't have any socks on. I hate them. I hate socks. T-shirt, comfort. I buy for purpose, man. Like I buy clothing to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? I buy, like I wear a uniform every single day, so that's easy. And then my comfort wear outside, shorts, shirt, flip flops. I'm all about comfort, man. Totally. If I ever have the opportunity, maybe I guess to, you know, up the wardrobe because I get invited more to like parties to celebrate my awesomeness in stock market investing because we came and conquered Aduro Clean Technologies. It's like I had the stock referred to me. you know, there's one person that I would credit in this interaction, and that individual does not do YouTube. So I'm more interested in the truth. This individual approached me. Ryan, I'd like to set up a meeting. I'd like to talk to you. Let's talk about this opportunity. I'll let you know what I know. You can make your own decision about the proposal. That's how that went down. That's the truth. And that's I'm more interested in. People who have the insight or the foresight or the wherewithal or whatever it was to come to an opportunity like a Duro Clean Technology at 45 million market cap. Insane. Not common. Very rare. Lucky to have been introduced to it so early in the process. And here we are at $5. Well, what are you doing, Ryan? What do you do, Duro? It's like, guys, I've been investing in the company for 2.5 years. It is what it is. It's part of the story here. It's an easy story to get behind, guys. It's been a very easy stock to own because it missed all of the SPAC debacle. It missed all of the euphoric run up during the SPAC craze and all the hype train and all the buying pictures for millions of dollars, all that garbage that went on. It missed all that, right? So it slowly just realized its value over time, and I'm just glad to be part of it, man. But thank you for the comment, man. It's very kind. It's cool. You go back and watch that old content. Very cool stuff. History is created today in the Indian stock market. Bills pumped to staggering RS to cash derivatives. This is a record single day buy till date. Wow, that's interesting. It's a cool comment, man. Thank you for sharing that. Interesting enough, man. Thank you. The automatic saving method is so heapful. Yes, Kat. She's like, oh my goodness, no, I didn't misspell on Ryan's live stream. Yes, you did, and I forgive you. It's no problem. I do it all the time. I'd be lost without spell checker, man. She's like, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. You're a human being, just like me. Don't worry about it. It's all good. There it is. Matt has indeed went to zero. So we can give up on what was and what will always be known as Matt money. It's like portfolio's fine, right, Matt? So this is the pile is okay. It's just growing ever so slightly in some capacities every day. In some capacities, it's in 20, 30, $40,000 days, man. And it's like, right on. This is interesting. Very cool stuff, man. Very cool. Finally made it on the live, man. I don't know about awesome. I definitely am. I am happy to do the program for sure. I'm glad you made it on. And shoot, man, you don't have a wrench. What's up with that? Gonna find you, man. There he is. Boom. Now you got one. Boom. So I just bastardized the moderator program from YouTube. Everybody gets moderator status on the Independent Investor channel, man. Everybody. So it's awesome. A million is a great but not necessary. Getting enough for your portfolio is wonderful as well. Yeah, I'm almost looking at it like maybe a generational thing. If I have enough to be comfortable, walk away from the career at my leisure, travel, have the opportunity to engage in the properties that we want to engage in, I'm happy. I don't need any more than that. I'm freaking fine. I'll go dig holes and till my land and buy and build structures the rest of my life. I'll lay rock. You can come and lay wire for me. You and my brother would get along like, yeah. My brother's he just passed his general contractor test, brother. I thought you'd like to know. Yeah, he's a general contractor. He passed it in a couple of states and he couldn't pass his test in Oregon, but he passed. So he's now a general contractor, and you guys would be able to sit and talk the language because he talks to me sometimes, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. He's a smart kid. He's a smart kid. Very good electrician. No doubt about that, man. Yes, saw, yes, saw. The ticker symbol went, yeah, it's going to be AADUR. Um, it went back to ACTHF. So a little more volume, a little more settling out on that. So that was good. You guys keep adding comments in here to keep me going. That's funny. A little overtime, little bonus. Thank you. You've helped change my life and appreciate investing. Yeah, man, just operate from a defensive perspective all the time. Don't get over your skis ever. Okay, that S&P core, that's going to fluctuate. If it goes down, buy more. If it goes up, you can throttle back or keep or maintain. It's really simple. Okay, and the power of that is very, very powerful over time. The trick is to just stay steadfast with the program. All right, I saw the Adur comment. Market screen does not seem to show that ticker. It's ACTHF. I'll put it in here, ACTHF now. It's going to be Adur when it goes to the NASDAQ. There you go. I threw it at the bottom of the thread there, guys. Yeah, ACTHF. All right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was frustrating, man. Dude, you know the most frustrating thing about this is, Dave? We weren't wrong. We will never know. We will never know. They spent 16 million to unwind the powertrain business. And what a phenomenal idea, you know? It's crazy. We weren't wrong. We were not wrong. But I tell you, man, there's a lot that can happen in the microcap space where you look at it and you're like, this is for sure thing, whatever it might be. You just got to be kind of careful with that, man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. God, this reminds me of the 2 hours. Yeah, it was usually the second hour where I'd start to get a little bit loopy, and start really telling stories and whipping some ass. That's usually when the Jack Daniels would kick in. hmm I was back in the good old days. It was pretty fun. How did I get the blue wrench? I don't know. You did? That's awesome. That's cool, man. Nah, you're just part of the community, man. It's all good. I appreciate it. We will sign off, guys, man. That's about good enough of communion tonight on the Independent Investor channel. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, being part of the message. It's 60 minutes. A lot of people are like, that's crazy. It's 60 minutes straight. It's a drop in the bucket. How else are you going to spend 60 minutes of your time, man? Like, I'll shut this off and I'll go about my evening and get up tomorrow, go to the gym, pump some freaking iron, go to the grocery store before the crowds. Why? Because I think outside the box, because I don't think like other people. All right. And I would encourage you guys to look at the prospects of doing the same. It's absolutely liberating. Just trust me, man. Look in my eyes. It's liberating. All right. Glad to have you on the live stream, man. Very good stuff. You guys have a good rest of the weekend. We'll probably be off next Friday for you guys that are still in here. So don't expect me to come on next Friday. I've got somebody that's retiring after 47 years of loyal service to the country, and I'll be tipping back a few pints with my good friend after that 50 years of service, man. Pretty legit. And we'll reconvene the week after. Program remains the same. Look forward to reconvening with you guys on the fastest 60 minutes on you guys on YouTube. Be well, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.